Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to introduce a new tool on our website, hiking.princegeorge.tech, which allows you to find the best trails in this northern BC area using different criteria that you specify and pulling in weather forecast data as well as avalanche forecast information and a bunch of those things, and combining it all into one page where you can find out, hey, either for the short term, for a day hike, where should I plan to go for the perfect hike for me, or maybe you're going to do long-term forecast, maybe 7 days out, 10 days out. You want to know what the options are in the coming week. And that's basically what this video is going to cover. Here we are on the Prince George, hiking.princegeorge.tech website. And when I hover over the outdoors menu, we can see this new menu item, Best Trails Finder tool. We will click on that. And it brings us to the main page for the new tool. And so there's a lot going on here on the page, and there's a lot more that's not visible at the moment. Basically, we start off here. We have the title, Best Trails Finder. There's a help button here, which will link to this video showing how to use the tool. And then basically we have the title here saying, please adjust the preferences below to find acceptable hiking trails based on forecast conditions. And so all the settings you can adjust are in this box right here, forecast preferences. All of the results when you click find best trails will be in this box here. And then at the bottom there'll be sort of a detail box that will show all the details of the calculations made. And basically you're going to focus on these two boxes up here for the most part. And so what happens is when we first come in here, there are a few forecast preference templates. So the default is great hiking, but if you click on this, you can click clear skies, great hiking, lots of snow, very cold. And all of these items will pre-populate the various settings that are in this box. Now, how do I see more settings beyond just the short-term forecast and the long-term forecast? I click the Show More button, and behind the scenes, these are all the other options that you can adjust. So again, when we come in great hiking, we'll preset the values to what you see here. If I select clear skies, you'll notice it does a few things. It sets the maximum cloud cover to 10%, and it says no rain, no precipitation basically. And it disables all the other checks. I don't care about temperature. I don't care about the rest of these settings, avalanche or wind or anything else. And that's what this column here is. These check boxes indicate whether you should consider those rules or not, those preferences. So if I don't care about dealing with the minimum, maximum daily temperature, I just uncheck and it will ignore any of that and I don't have to fill it out. So you can see what clear skies, the template, shows us here. If I go ahead and click lots of snow, you can see all I care about is the range of amount of snowfall from 10 centimeters to 15,000 centimeters. That's sort of the default for lots of snow. So anything above 10 centimeters, it's going to show hikes in the forecast. If I pick very cold, it's going to pick minimum, maximum daily temperature from minus 80 Celsius as warm as minus 15. So anything colder than minus 15 Celsius, it will pick up. And you can, of course, just change these values to whatever you want. If I go ahead and pick great hiking, they're all selected. And any of these templates, if I just pick clear skies, I can check and uncheck any of these values to turn that on and pick a value. And I should point out, if you're going to use the avalanche danger ratings, if you enable them, you will pick which rating that you would like as your maximum. So, for example, below tree line, anything that's moderate or less, I will accept. Anything that's considerable or higher, I don't want to consider that in my calculation. So these are all the preferences you can pick from. This is how you enable and disable. Let's go back to great hiking. And like I said, by default, when you come in, all these additional preferences are hidden, and I'll just click Find Best Trails. And what it's done is it's populated the right-hand side here, and it shows for each date in the forecast period which trails will meet the criteria that I picked. So if I click Show More over here, these will show all the criteria. So for great hiking, I'm saying anything from as cold as minus 15 to as warm as 25 degrees Celsius. and cloud cover is no more than 60%. I don't want any precipitation. So it says here that today, which is Sunday, Ancient Forest, if I hover over Spot WX weather, you can see the values it's calculated for the Ancient Forest for the 23rd. So cloud cover will be 30%, precipitation will be basically nothing, and so it's considered this as something to include as a recommended hike. Now we can see here that in this tip here, I'll hover again, it says the cloud covers 30%. So if I were to change this down to 29%, we should not see Ancient Forest for the 23rd. And as you can see, it's gone. So that's kind of how you can filter the conditions you want in and out. And of course, you scroll down here in this box, and it gives you for every date in the forecast a list of all the trails that meet the criteria that you've picked. So that's that date here is Monday. And we have 4 links for each one of these items that were selected as recommended. The first link here, if I click on it, it's going to bring me to the Hiking Prince George Tech website and give all the details about the particular hike. It's just taking us to the pages on the website, which you can get more information such as recent hike statuses, tracks, if you want to download them, information about how to get to the trailhead and about the trail itself, and pictures, as well as videos are at the very bottom. So that's the first link. The second link is going to bring us to the Spot WX weather forecast. So if I click on that, it's going to bring us to the forecast. We can check the date. And when I look at the Spot WX forecast, you can see the red line up here in the top grid shows the temperature in red, -13. It shows in this grid, all this gray stuff here are the cloud cover. So you can see here the cloud cover at this point is 83%. And then up here in this part, this is how much snow has fallen. So 1.1 centimeters, and this is the total accumulated snow over the period of time. So between here and here, there's no new snow falling, and that's why it says the 1 hour precipitation is none. So you can check the Spot WX forecast to confirm the results to see if you want to go on that day, or if you want to look at a few days, you can look at those graphs. We also have a link to Environment Canada for that exact area. So Small River Caves, you can see here's the Forecast Canada forecast, showing all the values for each of those days as well. And then we have Avalanche Canada forecast. So this is where all these values here will come in. We actually get it from the Avalanche Canada website. If you want to look at the details on the Avalanche Canada website, that's what that link will do. It'll bring you right to the spot for that trail. And here's the avalanche ratings for Small River. Right now, there's just early season is what they're giving. I think on November 26th is when the actual ratings will start to be populated. So we're a bit just before the season has started. But anyways, as you hover over the Spot WX weather, it shows you the calculated values for Blueberry Pass Trail on Monday, November the 24th. If I hover over Avalanche Canada, if there was any forecasted avalanche information, it would show the values there for that day, for that location. And you could just take a look to see, if I picked moderate and it showed low, 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 or if there was low below tree line and then it was moderate at the alpine, I would know that by hovering over this link here for the specific trail. So that's just a way to get the detail. If I want to see all the details of the calculation, I can look at the bottom grid here. You can see, for example, here's Great West Mobility Trail near Prince George. These are the calculated values for that date for November 23rd. All the different values that I calculated, you can compare against what you entered up here. And if there's any avalanche forecast information, it'll continue on this line and show what those values were. So this is just a way that you can pull it all in, look at all the trails, plan for going out on an excellent hike or snowshoe or skiing. And if you're somebody who's into snowmobiling, maybe you want to see when is that lots of snow going to hit, and find best trails. You can take a look. Short term, nothing, but if I click here on the long term forecast for 10 days and click find again, we can see there's a bunch of places. December the 1st, out at Baldy Mountain, if I hover over spot, it says it's going to get 12.7 centimeters. If I go look at Grizzly Den Loop, it tells me 13.9. So it looks like out east we're going to get a lot of snow. Even up north at Erratic Ridge, if I hover over this, they're going to get 11.4. So somewhere around December 1st, we're going to get a big snowfall. That's just sort of an overview of the tool. There's a lot more that can be done. But hopefully this shows you how the tool works. All the forecast information will be updated daily. And so when you use this tool, it's not actually going out to those websites. That work has already been done early in the morning, and it's all just done here on our website. So the results are very quick. So you can plan your multi-day trip or your day hike all in one spot. Hopefully you find that useful. And thanks for checking us out. If you have any more questions or feedback about the tool, feel free to leave comments in the bottom of the video. If you like what you see, click the like button. Thanks. Catch you on the next one. All right, so let's catch up with some additional features we've added since that original video was made. First of all, up here in the title, Best Trails Finder, beside the Help Tutorial button, there's a new button and it says Mobile View. And what happens now is when you visit the site, either from a desktop or from a mobile device, it tries to automatically detect. If it hasn't properly detected, you're coming from a mobile device and you're looking at the desktop view, which is this, you can click that button and it'll switch over. And you can see this is the mobile view. It's a little bigger, easier to read on your cell phone. And you'll notice in mobile view it says desktop view, so you can toggle back and forth. So talking about that first feature, that button, you can see here the UI user interface is slightly different. There's these three buttons up here: Preferences, Results, and Calc Details. So instead of the whole screen having all of it, it's all condensed. So Preferences is right here. I can click over here to see the calculation results, and I can click over here to see the calculation details. If I come down here and click Find Best Trails, it's automatically going to load and move me to the Results tab. Let's click that, and now you can see here in the Results tab that we have the results over here. And I want to look at the details. I can click here and see the details. Clicking back here on Preferences, I can change my settings and click Find Best Trails. Once again, I can click Show More, and it's going to show the settings here. All right, so going back to the desktop view, the first item mentioned is that you can switch between mobile and desktop view. Second item is, we just kind of showed you this new view for mobile users. So already showed that with the different tabs, and it works pretty much the same way. It's just that the user interface is a little bit different. So the next item after that that's new is we now allow you to filter by trail categories. So every trail on the hiking.princegeorge.tech website has one or more categories assigned to it. So if you want to, for example, I want to include trails with all of the categories that I've selected, and we're going to pick very strenuous snowshoe. So I want to show all the hikes that are very strenuous snowshoeing that meet the rest of this weather criteria. And I'll click Find Best Trails, and currently it's only showing Zigzag Ridge. There's other trails like Terry Fox and Baldy, but obviously they don't fit the criteria in here. Category to something else like just very strenuous, we'll probably see more trails. So you can see Baldy, Erg, Terry Fox, and Zigzag because it's not looking at snowshoeing. These filters here, you can select one or more. You can control click, and as you hold the control button, you can click and unclick and do one or more of these. The Include Trails With dropdown allows you to control how this list works. All of those categories must be found. None of these categories should be found if I pick none. So that means I want to exclude all the very strenuous hikes. So I'll click Find Best, and all the very strenuous hikes are not in the list. If I pick one selected, I could pick very strenuous and snowshoeing, and they both don't have to exist in that hike, just one of them. So I will now click Find Best Trails, And you can see I picked very strenuous, but ancient forest is not very strenuous, but it does allow snowshoeing. So that's kind of how this next item works. So you can filter trails by category. If you don't want to use this in the filter, you just select the top option. Moving on to the next item. Over here in the results panel, for all of the results, you now have a button beside each date category or each date grouping. Hide day and show day, so you can, if you have a big list of dates in here, especially for a long-term forecast, you can hide all the values for a day. For example, today's Monday, and if I don't really want to see those values because I'm not going to go out today, I can hide it and then just look at Tuesday's values. Anyways, those are all the new features. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks.